I woke up this morning and our goats were missing. All 5 of them. They're fainting goats. We have a breeding pair, a weathered male, and we have 2 kids that were a couple months old. So we're gonna go check out their enclosure and see if they're there. We're passing my garden, my apiary. The garden's doing pretty good, actually. I gotta clean some stuff up. It's a little messy around here, but I've just been so busy at work, and you can only do so much. So here is the goat enclosure. As you can see, no goats. There's a goat shelter. There's their little goat bench. Some logs they would hang out on. But as you can see, no goats. Okay. I gotta be honest with you. We haven't had the goats for about 2 weeks. We bartered the goats for a donkey, believe it or not. And that makes more sense for our family for several reasons. One is that my wife and daughter are way into horses, and I ride a little bit so I can hang out with them. And we recently got a horse trailer for camping, but if we bring 3 horses, we have to leave a horse here, and horses do not like to be alone. They need a pasture mate, and that donkey is now going to be a pasture mate for whatever horse we leave whenever we go on a camping trip. So that's the main thing. And donkeys are also good at keeping away predators, coyotes. But the main reason we traded, so there was no money exchanged, it was 5 goats for a donkey, is that we had more purpose for the donkey than the goats. So let me tell you about the goats. We had them for over 3 years, I think, 4 years. And they were fainting goats. We actually got them as a wedding gift. When Amy and I got married, we spent a few days with our families afterwards. And then when we came back to the farm, some of my best friends ever were at our house, and they had made us dinner, and they had 3 baby fainting goats that they had gotten from Tennessee. We were really excited. We had fun with them. I took them on hikes sometimes. We actually did breed the male and female, and I think we got 5 kids over the years. Sold some of, or sold all of the babies, made a little bit of money, but really just enough to buy more goat food. So the breed was cool, fainting goats. Some people love them. We found a lady that really wanted fainting goats, and we really wanted a donkey, so it worked out perfectly. She had more time to focus on the goats. We had more time to focus on the donkey, and it just worked out perfectly, finding someone that wanted them, and we wanted their donkey. We did not choose fainting goats. I think we might have chosen a different breed, maybe some pygmies or some Nubians. But honestly, even if we had gotten milking goats, I don't know if we would have had time to keep up the regimen of milking goats. That is a lot of work. You have to milk them at least once a day, and you have to breed them and kid, and it's a big process. For us, that would not have worked for us. My wife and I, we both work full time, and we do a lot outside of the house, and we have a lot of hobbies, a lot of passions. I don't think we would have had time for milking goats. Maybe one day we will, but not right now. I don't call that a failure. I mean, 5 years of homesteading, you find things that work for you, things that don't work for you. I think sometimes people that are homesteading or that might have a homestead YouTube channel might think they have to do everything, they have to do it all. That is not true at all. You only have to do what you want to do, what you can do, and what makes you happy. So it takes time to figure out what works for you. Some other reasons we traded the goats is that they kept getting out of that enclosure. The hill that it's on has eroded away from years of the goats walking back and forth, and they kept getting out and messing up our fruit trees. So they damaged this fruit tree. Actually, they damaged almost every single fruit tree except for a peach tree, which maybe they didn't like the peach tree. Here's more goat damage. And here's some serious damage that they did to this apple tree. This whole section of bark was ripped off by the goats. They were only out for a few minutes. I don't know if this tree's really gonna make it. It does have apples on it, but I just don't know if it's gonna make it. So the goats kept getting out. We kept trying to do things to fix that problem, and it kept eroding. What I would like to do, if we ever have goats again, we will have a much better plan. I'd love to have some electric fencing, and we can move them around to areas that need to be maintained. Here's another area they kept getting into. This raised bed area, which I think is beautiful. This terrace garden. I've planted everything here. This used to be weeds, which it still is weeds in some places. But I have dreams of making this front area a cascading waterfall, which I think would be awesome. And I planted a lot of flowers, hostas, lots of flowers that are great for pollinators. But I couldn't really plant tons of stuff in there because the goats could get out, and in a matter, a half an hour, they can destroy a flower garden. So I've been working on this fence that was to keep the goats out, and actually one of our ponies is very inquisitive, and he sometimes would get on that raised terrace, which is kind of dangerous. So again, we won't have any goats in our videos anymore, but we did find a lady that was very excited about them. We're excited about our donkey, which we still haven't named. Again, I don't see it as a failure. You got to do what works for your family. Maybe one day, if we have a better plan, we'll have goats again, but not for the foreseeable future. I'm more focusing on beekeeping, and Amy's a horse trainer, and Roan's way into horses and endurance riding. You can only do so much. If you do too much, I think you get overwhelmed. And I think I'm going to focus on plants as well. I'm very interested in learning more about plants. I really like pitcher plants. That's one of my favorite plants. I'd like to get into raising and selling pitcher plants one day. So I hope this video has been informative. If you like our video, subscribe, comment, give us that thumbs up, and keep on homesteading, and homestead the way that makes you happy, and don't worry about other people. You gotta homestead the way that makes sense for you. Until next time, keep it real.